Hey everyone, we're doing another episode of our ACOTAR deep dive. Now, if you have not read ACOTAR, again, I caution you, we will be talking spoilers. But if you don't care, listen along with us. Hey book babes, welcome back to Two Girls, One TBR. Your chaotic book besties here to wreck your reading list, one morally gray man at a time. I'm Rebecca, still living for the villains, monsters, and magical artifacts that make our dark fantasies delicious. Catch me over at Azrella Reads on Instagram for your morally gray hero fix.
And I'm Chelsea. If I'm not narrating, I'm devouring every twisted plot I can find. My TBR is a beautiful mess over at Chelsea and Chapters. Tonight, we're diving deep into the darkest corners of Prythian, the ACOTAR villains, with the Villains of Prythian.
Yes, since this is October, it feels appropriate to talk about the villains, don't you think? Now,
Yes, for Halloween.
oh yes, because this is my favorite time of the year. I love
Mine
the
too.
spooky season. Now, we
I have to
do,
show you since we're talking about it.
let me
Look at
see.
my Booksta sweatshirt. Wait for it.
Oh, it is so cute. I love
Isn't
it.
that cute?
I love all the little ghosts. There's a thing I follow on my Bookstagram. It's a girl that makes little tiny miniatures, and it's like little houses with little ghosts and stuff, and I want one.
Yeah, so cute.
I love that kind of thing. But that's really cute.
I've
I
been
love that.
loving all the ghost ones too, where they have the ghosts and they're holding different fantasy books. Oh, it's adorable.
I love that. Again, favorite time of the year, little ghosts. Now, we're going to talk about our before we get going into our actual episode, we like to kind of talk about things that we either did not remember the last time when we recorded, or it was something we got wrong. Now, the one thing is Lucien, God bless him. Lucien's eye, we couldn't remember how and what happened with his eye, but it was mentioned that he has a metal eye, was crafted in the Dawn Court by Tamlin's friend, and that is in A Court of Wings and Ruin. But I didn't
Yeah.
remember that. But I knew he had his eye done, but I couldn't remember from where.
Yeah. And I can't remember too specifically if Lucian said, I had a friend and Tamlin got it fixed, but that's basically what happened. Like Tamlin at least paid for it, if nothing else, depending on whose friend it really was.
Well, he should pay for it, just like you said.
Yes.
He's kind of the cause that poor Lucian lost his
Yes.
eye. And then we have a thought here. You're going to tell us about our
Yeah.
Maeve. Is it
Yes.
Maeve?
Maine. I
Maeve.
don't remember this, so I'm excited for one day to do a Throne of Glass reread. But it's said that she had violet eyes, which are sometimes described as violet, starry eyes, violet blue, much like our beloved Rhys. And it appears in the novel Heir of Fire, which is number 3. And it's found in a key scene early in the book when Aelin, first meets Maeve at her fortress. And it's the part of the story where Selena is first introduced to Rowan and begins her training with him. Based on plot recaps, the meeting and description would be around chapter 7 of Heir of Fire.
So if you go back because you have those books, if you go back, because I haven't read them yet, maybe you can actually
If the
see
receipts
that moment.
Yeah, if the receipts don't match up, then I'll let you know. But it sounds familiar.
Because I have seen other people say, have those theories that they are related, that her and Rhys could be. It's
Yeah,
possible.
and I feel like Dorian could also be like a distant relative because he has very beautiful, stunning blue eyes too and dark hair. So I feel like it's either him or I guess Maeve works too, but she was a I forget what the name is for the bad guys in Throne of Glass.
Was she an Asteri? Because I don't
No,
know.
Asteri is Crescent City.
Well, that's Crescent City. Is
Volg,
she
the
Volg?
Volg. Yeah.
Well, he could. Well, I mean, from the description of what you've said,
Mhm.
Rhys could fit in that category.
Well, yeah, because we do have those little hints into like Princes of Hell, or are they Vogue? Are they the dark
So, I mean, it could tie in.
Fae?
I mean, it is
Mhm.
possible.
Yeah, or they
Now,
could be descendants of, if they had children, they're descendants of those more evil
well, what is it that
Fae.
Sarah said that Crescent City and ACOTAR, we know, are in the same timeline? Are we
Mhm.
100% that Throne of Glass is happening at the same time as those two?
Yes, because Aelin falls through the sky during Starfall, and Rhys slows down her it's in, and she sees Feyre and Rhys on a mountain, and Feyre's pregnant.
Okay. So it is all
So
happening at the same time,
mhm, yeah.
unless she was falling through time.
She could have been. It could have been like a time continuum,
Yeah,
which means then
it's interesting.
if she passes through that portal again, then perhaps she could meet up with them still. I
Oh,
mean, they are immortal, so
it's I find all of Sarah's universes very interesting. Again, I've only
mhm.
read ACOTAR, but I have
Yeah,
Crescent City sit there.
yeah,
That's my next. Once I get done with Eldridge, I'm gonna start Crescent City. But now the other thing
awesome.
that we found out is that there's the identity of the fourth item in the Dread Trove. It's not explicitly revealed in ACOTAR, but however, a key theory strongly suggests by the crossover with the Crescent City series is that the fourth item is the horn. Again, I haven't read the series, but you would know what that means,
Yeah.
which is made of ivory, some type of bone, and that is what could open rifts between worlds. I wonder if that's what opened the rift and left Amarin in,
Yeah, that's an interesting take.
because they said it was
Um,
a rip.
yeah, and I'm trying to
Could she
it's
be
been a
from
little
Crescent
while since
City?
it's been a while since I read Crescent City, but yes. Yeah,
See, that's interesting.
that horn is a big deal because it causes a lot. That's, like, basically the whole premise of that series is finding the horn.
Okay. See, that's
It was like
interesting.
it belonged to, like, one of their gods
Well,
in the
see,
temple.
see, we know there is a fourth one because when Nesta was in the prison getting the harp, that's when, remember, she meets that weird guy, and I don't know how to pronounce his name. Was it Lanthius?
Lanthes.
Lanthius? Something
Lanthius,
like that.
yeah.
But he was creepy. Remember, and he wanted to take Nesta and make her his queen, and they could rule all of Prythian.
Yeah.
But she could see, she knew the other ones, and she could see that fourth item, but it was just out of her reach that she couldn't tell what it was. So I wonder if that truly was the horn, is what she was seeing,
And
or
I'm
could it
trying to
have been
remember in
something
Crescent
else?
I think in Crescent City, I think that because Bryce asks to borrow some of the trove, some of the items from the trove.
So she knows the other pieces exist.
Yes. Yeah, because
Interesting.
the harp plays a big role. Yeah, a lot of it plays a role. So, again, it's
Interesting.
been a while since I've read that, so I would love for anybody that's read it recently to talk all about it in our comments so that we can have a little refresher on it.
Well, it says, like, during his vision with Nesta, because remember, it's cryptic and it's layered, the symbolic meaning, but
Mhm.
he shows her the three known trove items, which was the mask, the harp, and the crown. And the fourth shadowed object was made of bone, which that one said it was made of bone. But now there's also, in our next episode, I have this just as a little note, just as a tidbit, that there could be possibly a fifth trove item.
Hmm. Yeah, and, so Lanthus, I don't think we figured out how to say his name yet, but he
I don't
was dangerous, immortal, being imprisoned, freed when Nesta touched the harp to escape the prison's wards, and he immediately threatened Nesta and Cassian, like you
know.
said, planning to make him his queen, could take the form of swirling mist, and he was the father of the bog, and then Nesta was ultimately able to bind him into a physical form, kill him with her magic sword, Ataraxia, which he feared, and showed Nesta a vision of ruling the world with the Dread Trove. Also with him, isn't he the one who called her the witch, like queen or something? Remember we
I don't
talked about
know.
that in another episode? Or was it the bone carver that called her that? I think it was
No,
Lanthes.
though they called her a witch, that was the Illyrian soldiers called her a
That too,
witch.
but somebody called her like
Oh,
there was
I'll have to
another one.
look.
I remember talking about that in another episode earlier
I'll
that
have to
he had
look it
made
up.
that comment. Yeah.
That's interesting. I mean, because
Mhm.
he obviously was very ancient in there, and then and he could I don't know. I think it's could it could be that right there, that moment, could that be the foreshadowing moment? Because they said supposedly
Mhm.
that Sarah said that somebody is going to betray them. Is Nesta
Mhm.
going to lose her mind, take all the trove, and try to take over Printhia?
Yeah. Oh, that's what it was. It was in A Court of Silver Flames. Lanthis calls her the Witch of Urid, Oorid. We did talk about that, but I don't remember even what Urid is. What does that mean to us? So that might be a breadcrumb.
It might be a breadcrumb. It's kinda like Rose Hall last time.
Yes, just like Rose
'Cause
Hall. We really
it's
don't know what this Urid thing is.
I'll have to look and see if I can find anything. If there's anything in any of the other series mentions that name, maybe?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
interesting. I
That's a
don't
good
know.
one.
That is a very good one. Now, also, the other thing that we did get wrong, or I got wrong, that I had on it, an heiress abandoned War when he wouldn't help her when her dad threw her over into Autumn Court with that notes nailed to her. It was Asriel that came and got her. It wasn't Reese. So that is a correction, and that is in A Court of Mist and Fury and A Court of Wings and Ruin. They talk about it. Its
Mhm.
event is very detailed in flashbacks in those. but it was Asriel,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
sweet man with his
Sweet,
big
sweet man.
wingspan.
Our spy master with the big wingspan. And then in the Crescent City series, the parasitic Asteri do not drink or eat in a traditional sense. Instead, they consume the life force and magic of the Vanir, which are the magical beings of Midgard. I remember also that they had like their parasitic ways were like had been in like their water source. So not only did they
Oh,
like give up part of their magic when they did the drop, there's something called the drop, which you'll find
okay.
in Crescent City, and that gives the Asteri some of their magic. And then also their water source basically was like poisoning them. So every time they drink water, like that power source was going to them and feeding them.
Interesting. Well, see, well, the reason we didn't know about that is the one note said that because Amaranth drinks blood, and we were
Blood.
thinking maybe
Yeah.
they drink blood, but no. So she's something different than them because if
Yeah.
they
I feel like
didn't,
she's gotta be something better than them because I hated the Asteri. I hated the Volg. I hated
Mhm.
the Asteri, and there's no way Amryn can be lumped in with them.
So she's some other type of something beyond
Yeah.
them. But that's an interesting one.
And maybe they imprisoned her because she fought against them.
Oh, that's very possible. There's a reason why, because she said she fell through the rift. So I don't think the rift just opened and she was the only thing that fell through. You know what I mean? Because she might
Right.
have been pushed through the rift
Yeah.
on purpose to get rid of her.
Mhm.
And she can't remember.
Yes.
I don't think she has memory of why it happened or anything like that. Or
Mhm.
she just is concealing that information.
Mhm.
And they also, the other thing I looked up to see what they think how long she was in the prison, and
Mhm.
it's implied that she was in there for a millennia, so 1,000 years. That is a long time.
That's a long ass time.
So that kind of
Yeah.
plays into the fact that maybe she is in that number of around 15,000 years old.
Cray cray.
Oh, she's quite old. So all right. So now, book babes, grab your cauldron. We're about to dissect the villains of Prythian from Amarantha to the King of Hybern because they're
It's
all
gonna be a good
assholes.
one.
They're all
Yeah,
assholes
they
and they're
are.
villains. But
Yes.
now the first one we're going to talk about is Amarantha. I hate that woman so much. She was the Dark Queen under the mountain, if you forgot who she is. Now we do know she was High Fae. They called her the never-ending flower, the deceiver,
Never fading.
the Queen of Prythian, because remember she gave herself that title. She's
Mhm.
just such a lovely person. And
Mhm.
then, of course, she was the main antagonist in the actual A Court of Thorns and Roses, that actual book. Now, her status, she is unalived by Tamlin after Feyre breaks the curse after ruling under the mountain for nearly 50 years, which in their
Mhm.
lifespans and how they are, that was just a little tiny blib. We think
Yeah.
50 years, we think of it as a long time, but I guess
Yeah.
probably for them, it probably didn't feel as long, but it probably did because she was awful.
Mhm.
But her reign
Yeah.
left emotional scars across Prythian, and her influence may never be gone.
Yeah.
So now our origins of her, where she came from, because we always I called her I think a commander or whatever, but she was the former
I think that was
general.
right. Commander. Yeah.
Commander is the right word.
Mhm.
Okay,
Yeah.
but she was of King of the King of Hybern's army during the war
Mhm.
against the mortals. That was 500 plus years before this book, before this happened,
Yeah.
before Court of Thorns and Roses. So she's quite old if she was that
Mhm.
there. So they're placing her between 500 and 600 years old. So she would have been amongst some of the older High Fae. But now remember, the
Mhm.
reason why she was able to go under the mountain is because she stole the Book of Breathings. Was it that book?
No,
Oh, it was a different book.
it was just his spell book.
Oh, okay, just his
His
spell
book
book
of
she
spells.
stole. And then that's how
Hiberns,
she
yeah.
but that's how she cursed Tamlin and the Spring Court because,
Mhm.
Tamlin didn't want her. She enslaved the seven, well, it wouldn't be all seven of the High Lords because he would have been the seventh, so it would have been six of them.
Right.
And then she also did the mask enchantment to all the poor people of the Spring Court. And then after her death, the Adder, do you remember that horrible, whatever that thing was? He took
Yeah.
off with the book and he took that spell book back to the King of Hybern.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
And as I was re-listening for like I remembered the part where the twins, the prince and princess of Hybern,
Yes.
his niece and nephew, they said that, because I think Faber kind of was like giving them a hard time about, why did Hybern allow her to do that? And she took his spell book and it was like, well, she was just kind of like Hybern was fine with letting her test it out and see how easy it would be to take over their
Mm,
territory. And then I also from
that's interesting.
ACOTAR mentioned that now here's one that I just remembered. Feyre said that her coat of arms was of a sleeping dragon. And we don't have any other mention of dragons in ACOTAR. So I wonder
No.
if that's
Mm-mm.
significant in any way.
That does sound interesting, unless it's something that's happening over on the main island, because that
Hybern
or
side.
the continent.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, the continent. So I wonder. That's interesting. I did not remember that. That might be a breadcrumb too to something. Now there are some crazy theories with her. Now they believe that she might be. Is it Dragon? Is that how you pronounce that?
When I was reading Throne of Glass, I said it as Stygian, but that's probably not right in any way.
Stygian. I like that better.
I just sounded out. Who knows?
But we're going to go with Chelsea's pronunciation. A Stygian spider form. Their theory is that she may have been that in disguise, explaining her monstrous nature, her web like manipulation, and her obsession for control. Do you think it's possible that she could have been that? And then I guess they can transform into a human?
Yeah. Well, so those spiders in Throne of Glass, I think that, well, they are like a form of Volg. So they are dark
Okay.
creatures and evil and awful. So I could see that. Or I could just see her being
Just a
I
rotten
can see
person?
like all of the evil things in the Massoverse having some kind of connection eventually.
So,
So
I mean, so it could be
yeah,
possible that is what
yeah.
she could have been.
I'd like to know. I feel like every time we see these, I would love to know like the person that originally thought this up. I'd love to know
Yeah.
where they
Where
came up
did
with it.
I know, I agree. It every time I deep dive and I look into these things and stuff, I agree 100%. Like, where did they always come up? Some of them, but I mean, because there's some of them are like, woo, they're way out here. Now, this one here, I do believe, though, this theory, I think it
I like
is
this one.
possible that she may have been Tamlin's mate. That's the next theory. The theory is that Amarantha was Tamlin's true mate, but he rejected the bond, which would make sense, and it triggered her wrath. Tamlin didn't just lose Feyre, he lost Amarantha too, and that is what has now got his grief, and that's why he's spiraling, because he technically
Okay,
lost his.
so even though he didn't want Amarantha, he's had this grief inside, like that he'll never have a mate because he already rejected the one he would get.
Yes,
Okay,
because I haven't seen anything that shows that you get multiple mates in your existence of your life. It doesn't
right.
appear to be. It seems like you find your one mate. Because remember, Rhysand was waiting all his life, 500 years, for Feyre to
Yeah,
show up.
yeah,
So if that was the case, I mean, I would think there would be some type of grief, even though he said, no, I reject the bond. But I'm sure
yeah,
that would affect him in some way. And then he loses Feyre because he thinks that's his love, which I'm not sure why he thought that was love. But so maybe that explains why he is spiraling and he's trapped in his beast mode now.
yeah.
It's
You know what else I
multi-layered.
question? Is it
What's that?
seems like as far as mating bonds so far, what we know of it, except for in Throne of Glass, but throughout ACOTAR, it seems like when it comes to the mating bond, only the male really gets like the tug or the pull. So
That's
why did I
interesting.
mean Feyre because Feyre like knew she was attracted to Rhys, but she didn't get smacked in the face with it like Rhys did.
Wonder if
So
it's oh, no, because she was turned into high fae. But I was thinking maybe it's because he's fae. Maybe humans don't
but
feel it. But I don't.
it didn't smack him in the face until after she was made into Fae.
That's
So,
interesting. I know that is
yeah.
true. That is true. I hadn't really thought about
And then,
that.
like, with Lucien, when he says, "You're my mate," and Elaine is just kinda, like, staring at him,
Yeah.
it doesn't seem like she really is like, "Bam, I wanna be your mate," but all these
Yeah.
males are, like, ready to
They're the
jump on
ones
the females.
they're the ones that are feeling it first.
Yeah,
Interesting.
that's
I
what it
hadn't
seems
thought
like.
about that.
So, had Amarantha been Tamlin's mate, did Tamlin feel that, and he knew how nasty she was, and so he rejected that bond within himself without Amarantha knowing?
That's possible. I mean,
Yeah.
There has to be something, because we really truly don't know. We know that she came over, and I'm assuming she decided to do Under the Mountain and stealing everybody. Is it because that Tamlin had rejected their bond at that point, and so that was therefore her wrath, and that's why she went after him
Mhm.
so
It makes
hard?
you wonder though, like, did she know that they were mates, or do you think she just had a very strong attraction to him, kind of like Feyre, where it was like deep down, it was like her body was telling her she wanted Rhys, but she
Yeah.
didn't really know it magically quite yet.
I think Amarantha knew. I think she that's why she pursued Tamlin from when he
Yeah.
was such a young boy. I think she knew that he was her mate. And I
Yeah.
think she pursued it, and then as he got older, I think he had the ick with her, obviously. There
Yeah.
had to be some reason.
And
Well, her personality.
And we are also basing this off of, like you said, Feyre had just come out of being human. So she wouldn't really be familiar with the Fey magic and how those things feel. So I guess that's true too. Maybe because Amarantha was already Fey,
Yeah.
it's
And she
very
was
well
high
that she
fae
would have
too.
known. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
So, and then maybe that's why she had such an obsession with Tamlin
Mhm.
from the time he was young. Maybe she always felt that, and she knew that he was the one that she was supposed to be with. I mean, their personalities some kind of line up kind of in a way, because they both have that possessive type trait personality. She was very possessive of wanting to have Tamlin. Tamlin was very possessive and wanted to have Feyre just to him. So maybe there's something, because I don't think always I don't know what triggers their bond, because we're saying the cauldron caused the other ones, but I guess it's just in their magic creates the bonds. So I think the bond picked correctly, but she was just a rotten asshole and nobody liked her.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. But now this one might get you. There is a theory, because now remember, Rhysand was under the mountain for 50 years with
Mhm.
Amarantha. Is it possible that Rhysand had a son with Amarantha? Amarantha, this is the theory. They say that she bore a child with Rhysand during her reign, and that the child is who the bone carver appeared to as to Feyre, not Nyx, because the child that appeared
No
before her
wings.
he had purple eyes, like Rhysand. Nyx does not have it. He has blue eyes.
Well, when they describe Reese's eyes, though, it's that they're so blue that they look violet. So I think that we sometimes, like with all the fan art and everything, we just immediately go to
Just purple.
they're purple, but it was
But
that
he
they
didn't
were
have
like
wings.
so blue.
But you
But
said
he
he
didn't
didn't
have
have
wings.
wings.
And that's where I like this one because that's crazy to think
That's
that Reese has
interesting,
got a child out there.
because that's 50 years.
But
That child could be grown too. By that point, he
but
would
we would
be
have
grown.
known that Amarantha was pregnant and then Reese kept it from Feyre.
He does keep things from her. We discussed this the last episode. Yes. So, I mean, is it possible?
It's
Maybe,
possible.
wait, maybe he's down in the Court of Nightmares. Maybe he is down there,
In the
because
Hewn City?
in Hewn City.
Oh my gosh. That one's crazy. It's
That's a
drama.
crazy
I
one.
like it. It's toxic and I love it.
I mean,
That's awesome.
it's possible, because we know that he was Amarantha's whore, as they refer to it. So he was getting action there with Amarantha. I understand it takes them a very long time to even the possibility of
Yeah.
conceiving a child, but why did the
And
bone
then
carver appear that way to Feyre? Because if he knew and he foresaw Nyx coming, Nyx would have had wings,
wings, because the bone
and
carver
this one
knows
did
all.
not.
Also,
Hmm.
the other high lords that were under the mountain could easily be keeping that information from Feyre as like, I'm going to keep this information for a rainy day when I want to take down
Yeah.
the night court and cause
And
drama
Tamlin wouldn't know, because he wasn't
because
under
he
the
wasn't
mountain,
under.
and he wouldn't have known any of that happened. That is a possibility.
And none of the
That's
inner
interesting.
circle would know.
Nope.
Damn. And Reese could have altered all their minds
Oh, yeah.
also so that they don't even have
So
memory of it.
that is very possible.
Okay, we're going down the rabbit hole. I'm going to think of more things as I'm reading
Now,
now to
now,
support it.
they said that could also be the hidden heir with the death god lineage, possibly tied to the cauldron or to Koschei.
Hmm.
I don't really understand how that all ties together, but
I
they're
don't
saying,
get that,
but it
but
could be a
okay.
hidden heir. Because what if Nyx is not his heir? What if there's this other, but we're thinking of him as a child. They might, because if they were under the mountain for 50 years,
50 years.
I mean, he would be more of a grown person. He wouldn't be
Yeah.
like a little child. And that's why I think maybe
Yeah.
he's down in the Court of Nightmares. Maybe he's someone down there that Kier deals with. I
And it
don't know.
works that Feyre has such like it works that she's so traumatized from under the mountain that she's not gonna spend that much time in the human city, so it would be easy to keep him from her.
It's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
But it's interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know. I thought that was an interesting one. Now, the
Mhm.
next one is now that the under the mountain, there is a thing that is a theory that it's a gate. Under the mountain is one of
Yes.
the three major mountains in Prythian. Under the
Mhm.
mountain, which is Amarantha's lair, there's
Yeah.
Rommel,
Ramiel.
Ramiel.
I
There we
call it
go.
Ramiel. Yeah.
We're going to go with Ramiel. That's the Night Court's sacred peak. And then
Mhm.
there's the prison, the home of the ancient beings like the Bone Carver and the Weaver, and Amryn was there. There's that one. The theory is
Yeah.
that these mountains are all connected by magical gates and portals, possibly used to banish the Asteri from Crescent City. But they think that all has to do, and Amarantha knew it.
Yeah, and I okay, so I like that too, especially because I literally just got to the part in ACOTAR when okay, so remember Feyre and Lucien end up killing the prince and princess of Hybern. Then they run off
Yes,
through the caves.
yes.
So the caves are basically like they call them doors. He goes, "You're gonna take a door to get there because they don't have their magic. The Faebane has disabled their magic." And so the door, the gate, the caves, yes, there could be so many different portals throughout those caves.
There's something with it. There's some
In
reason
Throne of
why she picked
Glass,
it.
yeah, in Throne of Glass, there's a cave, and that's where they go into a glass like mirror in order to travel, and that's when Aelin falls through. So there's so many things with the caves. I love that.
It's interesting.
That is a great, yeah, that's a great tie to all of them.
And there's some reason that she picked Under the Mountain, because she could have,
Mhm.
because if she was the queen of Prythian, she could have picked anywhere she wanted to be, and she picked there.
Yeah.
There has to be a
And it
reason.
was the middle. I mean, it was the heart of Prythian. That was supposed to be like their sacred area.
But she went, but I mean, but she could have been out like in Springcourt where it was beautiful
Yeah.
and stuff,
She could
but
have
she
taken
picked
over
it.
somewhere.
That's
Yeah.
what I'm saying. And she chose to go under there. I'd say there's some reason that that was the specific location that she picked. Now,
Yeah.
we have talked about this. When Amarantha rolled, she had Jorian in a ring. Remember, it was just his
Mhm.
eyeball and his conscience was there. Now,
And his finger?
his finger was her necklace.
Good. Okay.
Yeah, she's really gross. But now this is some facts about that. Now, Amarantha trapped Jurian's consciousness in the ring after killing him, using dark magic to keep him aware, but powerless for centuries. So she kept him in her ring for a long time. She wore the ring constantly. She flaunted it as a trophy of her victory over him. In a court of thorns and roses, Feyre sees the ring and realizes that he is still alive and watching everything because remember his eye would move. But after her death, the ring disappears from the narrative and it's never mentioned again. Now, this is some theories of what people think happened to the ring. They think it was destroyed with Amarantha. Some fans believe the ring was destroyed when she died, either physically shattered or magically nullified. That theory is, but the Cauldron resurrected Jurian, pulled his soul out, and rendered the ring inert or obliterated. I still think Tamlin
Mhm.
took the ring. That's still my theory. I think he took it after he killed her. I think he took the ring. And I think remember we said, we think that was what
And
he
used it
used as
as
a
a bargaining
bargaining.
chip.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Now it could also be it was taken by Hybern. It wasn't Tamlin, it was the Adder because he took the spell book. Why wouldn't he take the
Mhm.
ring with him? And then Hybern's
Right.
forces retrieved the ring, after she died. The ring may still exist, possibly holding residual magic or secrets about soul entrapment. That could be especially relevant to Koschei's rumored abilities. So the
Mhm.
ring might still exist. It might not be destroyed. Maybe they're waiting to put another soul inside it, or someone else is going to get
Okay.
stuck in that ring.
Yeah.
Then they said now it also that plays into it that it could be still active and it might already be holding somebody else's soul. The wild
Oh.
theory is the ring wasn't destroyed. It may be now to be used to be trapping another being, possibly by Koschei or one of the surviving queens. Because we don't really know what all of the ones that are still surviving, we didn't get a whole
Mhm.
lot of tidbits of what they were doing. We knew what the other ones were doing, the one that got
Yeah.
killed and all that. What are they doing? So let's see here. And then the other thing, it's a how do you pronounce that? It was
This is
a
that's a Harry Potter reference, a Horcrux.
Okay, it's like anchor. This is some
Mhm.
fans believe the ring acted as a magical anchor, keeping Jurian's soul tethered to the mortal realm. Theory is, if the ring still exists, it could still be used to resurrect or manipulate other souls, especially in future books involving death gods. Because remember, they say that the bone carver, the weaver, all of them are dead. I still don't believe they're truly dead. I think, like what you said, they dematerialized. I think they can come back because they're a death
Yeah.
god
Yeah.
or the cauldron.
Yeah.
I
So
find that all interesting.
for context on the Horcrux, Voldemort uses that to basically he can like split his soul. So he can put it into these objects and that way if he gets defeated, he can be brought back by these objects that he has put part of his soul in. So I think that's a really cool idea
Well, then that's
for
very
it to be in
possible then.
other fantasy stories. Yeah. That's a cool reference.
Now we know Tamlin killed Amarantha, but what if her essence is still out there existing and her essence is in the ring? So what if she could come back? We're just
Ooh.
assuming she's dead,
Yeah.
but the ring went missing. The adder maybe
Yeah.
took it, and what if he took her back and her essence is with the wherever the King of Hybern, where over on the continent? Because
Yeah.
we really don't know. We know he's dead, the King of Hybern, because Elaine.
Or is he? Because none of us trust Sarah anymore. It's always like, okay, well, they were able to bring back Feyre, they were able to bring back Reese, so they were able to bring back Jurian. So how many
Oh,
beings are
that's
able to be brought
possible.
back? Yeah.
Well, that's true. That is a true thought in it. And
So
see
I
now
think that's why we make so many mountains out of molehills because we can't trust Sarah with everything that she says.
I know because she has brought people back that should be dead, and
Yeah.
they're back. Because I
Yeah.
still believe if Jurian went into the cauldron, I still believe when he came out, he doesn't have a belly button because
And
he
I
was
did
cauldron made.
but we can confirm that he has the rounded ears, so he's still technically human.
So technically, but I don't know.
And why? Why is he human and not Fae?
I don't.
Why did the
I'm
cauldron
not.
work that way?
I'm not sold that he's human 100%. He may have the appearance of human, but I'm not sold that he's just a human because he was able to do too many things. I think there's more secrecy under the
Mhm.
surface with him.
Oh, yeah, and he's got a plan because when they're sitting around the fire, when they're doing these little trips to the wall, and he's kinda looking at Feyre like, "I know what you're up to. Like, I know you're trying to leave." Like, he's smart and calculating, and he knows what's going on.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So I
He's
just
got
don't
something
think
big up his sleeve.
I just don't think he's just willy-nilly, "Oh, I'm content being." No. He was created just like how, Nesta and them were created again there, and well, I guess they wouldn't be created, but they were converted to high fae, whatever how you wanna put it.
They say
But there's
made.
something
They were
made.
made.
They were made.
Yeah.
So and he was made too. But he was made from an essence because it was just his consciousness as the eyeball in the ring. There's something involving the ring. The ring had to be involved.
Yeah. Yeah, that's very important. I think a lot of us glossed over that, and I think
There's
that's something that we
something
all
with
need to
it.
pay attention to. Yeah.
I think we are going to see the ring again. I
I
don't think
liked
it's
here too,
destroyed.
I don't think you had said it yet, but I liked this how the symbolism of it is that it could be a cursed object that passes from tyrant to tyrant, echoing themes of imprisonment and legacy.
'Cause it might
So
be
yeah,
like
that
the
ring,
cauldron. It might be like
yeah,
the cauldron and it can't be destroyed because you can't destroy the cauldron.
yeah.
So, I mean, it's possible. It's interesting, isn't it? But
Mhm.
now let's talk about because we're leading towards the King of Hybern, the
Real
mastermind of
quick,
war. What's that?
real quick. The guy doesn't have a name. He's just the King of Hybern. What is his name?
Oh, because I guess Hybern the location where he's at?
Yeah, Hybern's the location. So, what is his name?
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, but I never thought about that. Yeah, because that's okay. Because we just call him the King of Hybern. It's not that
Yeah,
his name
because
is Hybern.
the prince and princess both have first names. They're the prince and princess of Hybern.
Oh,
But
yeah, and they had actual names.
or is his name Hybern, and the reason why the territory is named Hybern is because of him? So, is that his name?
Possible. But I mean, but if you look in history and that, like when there was all the kings, like kings and queens of England, it wasn't,
Yeah, right.
their name. Because England
Yeah.
was England, because like you take
Mhm.
Henry VIII, he was Tudor was his last name. So
Mhm.
the country wasn't called Tudor. So
Right.
that's an interesting thought. I had never thought about that. So maybe
Yeah.
that is the area and we don't truly know his name.
Yeah, what is his name?
Interesting. Well, that's an interesting well, we do know that he is high fae,
Uh-huh.
okay? But now they said
He's not
though
a sorcerer like
he's
I
not a
thought.
sor no, he's not a sorcerer, but he did have a spell book, so I mean,
Yeah.
he would be a sorcerer, though he's just
Yeah.
his origins of that. But they said they
Yeah.
think he could possibly be something older, or maybe the Cauldron created Hybern. But yeah, his title is the King of Hybern, and the realm is Hybern, a Fey kingdom across the sea from Prythian. So that's not his name. That's hilarious. I never thought about
Yeah.
that.
Uh-huh. And it's probably significant. She's probably not telling us his name for a reason because maybe he is interconnected into some of the other series like Crescent City or Throne of Glass.
I have a thought. We don't know Rhysand's last name. Maybe there's something tying Rhys's lineage to the King of Hybern by whatever who he was. Because we
Yeah.
don't those are the two we don't know their last names.
Mhm.
Because she's very on purpose not telling us Rhysand's last name.
Yeah.
Because we
So
knew
I'm Googling as we're talking.
or you're Google because
So
we
this
know
is
like
gonna be a brand new theory that we're just throwing in here.
this is interesting. I
Somebody
hadn't thought
thinks
about it.
so there's Dorian Haviliard in Throne of Glass, and
Okay.
he is a descendant of Fae and ends up having Fae powers, but he's believed to be human in the beginning.
Okay.
So they think that there is a relative, Holland Haviliard, who is the king of Hybern.
So they think that who was this man related to Dorian?
Well, and that's what I don't know. We're gonna have to do a deep dive
We'll
on
have to
that. So
deep
that's
dive.
gonna have to be
Okay.
revisited. Yeah, that's gonna be revisited, but that's a great theory that if anybody knows about it or can remember,
Yes. Oh, yeah. Mark
tell
it down
us.
so we'll research it.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
interesting.
Mhm.
So if that would be the case, then that's where the King of Hybern came. Oh, interesting. But now, as we know, like the King of Hybern, now we do know that he orchestrated the war against the humans. I'm still not sure why he was so angry with the humans that he didn't like them. And the
'Cause he
Fae.
wants them to be he wants them to be his slaves, I guess.
Oh, yeah, I guess, yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
yeah, see, well, that explains, like, Amarantha's way of her mind thinking,
yeah.
too. And he was seeking to reclaim the lands lost in the treaty. So, he's over on the continent. We don't really know how big the continent is, because these are just a little areas of land.
Well, and the continent is different from Hybern, right? The continent is, like, where the mortal queens are.
Well, they said that he's in Hybern, a Fey kingdom across the sea from Prythian. I thought that was it on that continent, but maybe it's its own
It is
place?
yeah, let me find the
I'm
map.
trying to
You keep talking and I'll find the
Oh,
map.
okay. Oh, okay. Now, of course, we know Hybern is gone because Feyre and Elaine unalived him in a court of wings and ruin. Now, his death ended the war, but his influence is or his possible even his essence. What if his essence is in the ring because they killed him? What if he, he's still lingering?
Yeah,
Because there were all kinds of stuff happening at that time. What if they
yeah,
knew if he died and they put his soul in the ring? Because we don't know what his people were doing.
right.
That's interesting. But now he ruled before the first wars, before humans and Fae. So that gives at least 500 years
Mhm.
before ACOTAR. Now he's described as, now Amryn described him, I know, and they said that he is ancient, cruel, and deeply tied to old magic, especially the Cauldron, like older than Amryn. They said he could be, 10,000 or, I mean, we're vague. We don't know. Some things have said that Amryn's like 15,000 years, but then there's been things that are saying that he's older than Amryn, or maybe they're in the similar, but from what I'm gathering, no matter what it is, he's much older than anybody that's alive there, any of the High Lords or any of the people. Let's see here. Now, that's making him one of the oldest beings in the ACOTAR universe. His
Yeah.
kingdom was once part of a vast Fey empire, but now he was reduced and bitter because he only has a little bit of land now. Well, in his
Mhm.
mind. But this may be one of the last remnants of the original ruling class, predating the courts and the high lords. So
Mhm.
maybe that's why he's his own separate thing over on the continent.
Okay, so I found the map.
Okay.
There's Hybern to the west of Prythian. Then there's
Okay.
Prythian.
Okay.
And then to the east of Prythian is the continent. And it's separated by fairy realms and mortal lands. And that's where like Valhallan is, or Valahan, because that's where they have some, because they had mentioned that Hybern has allies on the continent
I just thought about it.
in
I
the
could open
fairy
the book.
realms.
I just thought
Yeah.
about it. I could open the book.
Oh, yeah, you have it
Okay.
right there. There you
I
go.
forgot.
Yeah.
Okay, so Hybern is his own island kind or little
Yes.
place. And then this
Yeah.
over here, this land over here is the other part. Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
Huh. Okay. So he is okay, so we don't know his name. That's just the land. Okay,
Yeah,
so
so
that
he is
that
unnamed for a reason. We know it now.
okay. So that makes more sense. Look at us doing live action research.
Investigating.
Let's see here. So, but that is interesting though. So maybe since they say he's so ancient in that, so maybe he does predate all the high lords and stuff.
Yeah,
That is something I have to look and see how long have the high lords existed?
yeah.
How many of them or
Also,
whatever.
remember when we were talking about what held Reese when they had hit him with the arrows and the bloodbane, and they had held him in that stone that is mined from Hybern?
Yes.
It's not iron, which we figured out, and that's one
Oh,
of their
their
biggest
advantage. Okay.
advantages is that stone that they mine out of Hybern. So I think that is also gonna become something like he chose that island for a reason.
Oh, interesting. Okay. So it's kind of like in like kryptonite with Superman. That's the thing that would take him to, and then okay, that makes sense. But
Yeah.
now obviously, I don't know, would that if that touched the King of Hybern, would it affect him? Or is it because he's such an ancient whatever, maybe it won't that kind of thing wouldn't affect him.
Or it's because they figured out how to, like, harness it and make it chains or
Interesting.
yeah.
That
So
is an interesting thing.
there must be some kind of magic binding that happens, like, once you have those shackles on, that's when it
It
takes your
does
powers
whatever.
from you.
Interesting. Now remember now he has his spell book, and they said now remember Amarantha stole his spell book using it to curse Tamlin, enslave all of them, and that kind of thing. But after Amarantha's death, the Adder fled with it and took the book back to him. Now, did he have the book with him when he was battling them in that final battle in A Court of Wings and Ruin? Where is that book? And can it be used by someone else? Wonder if Jorian has it. Because remember, he was working with the
Yeah.
King of Hybern to get his
Mhm.
confidence. So
Yeah.
maybe when the King of Hybern died, Jorian took the book. And
Yeah.
then that's where we're going to see him. Maybe he's going to be the one that will betray them all. And he'll
Yeah.
have the book to take over power. Because remember, he's still angry about all the stuff that happened. He seems too relaxed and
He
too happy with things.
yeah. And he still has his vendetta about the whole Miriam Draken thing. So,
Yes,
he's not done.
he's not done. No, and if he has that spell book, that could be something enormous. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? He could
Yeah.
wield a lot of power, even if
Feyre
he
had
is
kind of,
human.
yeah, Feyre had kind of said to, like, Jurian when he was asking about Miriam, she's like, "I was told she's dead," even though she knows that's not the case.
Yeah,
And Feyre was kind of, like, admonishing him, like, "Really? You've gotten a second chance at life, and you're still on about Miriam? Like, move on." And he kinda looks at Feyre, and he's like, "Isn't that what you're doing to Tamlin? Like, taking down his whole court?" And it was kind of a good moment where I was like, "He's not wrong. We're all
he's
being a
not.
little vengeful."
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
I mean, think about it. I mean, he could have, I mean, that is possible. Because remember, he was in Hybern's camp. He was whatever with him. How do we know? Because we know the cauldron was there, all that kind of stuff. So where did that book? Because I just don't think he left it over on his island.
Yeah,
You know?
you would think it would be, important enough to probably travel with him.
Yes. And then there was never any mention of it. And it was such a big thing because that's what Amarantha stole from him. He had it
Mhm.
back. He used it to get involved with the, he used it with the cauldron, and then
Yeah.
there was no mention of it. Where did it go?
Hmm.
There's something there. And it was glossed over because, everything was happening, because you know how the end of Sarah's books are. It's always like, and all that stuff's happening and bombs are
Yeah.
going off and all, it's all insane. And then we just didn't notice that little
Yeah.
tidbit, because it's somewhere. There's something with that. Now this is up. Now these are some theories now. Now they think that there is a connection between Koschei and the King of Hybern. The King of Hybern is Koschei. Now they said he was trapped at the lake, but unless he could put a part of his essence in somebody and then be the King of Hybern, which I don't know. They said it's a fragment of him, possibly split across the realms. So the King of Hybern is Koschei. What do you think of that? Do you think it's possible?
So I kind of like, if we're going off of the whole Horcrux thing,
Mm-hmm.
the reason why I like that is because the soul is just like sitting there waiting. It's not acting as its own split self.
Okay.
And so I think that thinking that he's like basically able to inhabit like two beings, I think that's a reach.
Well, they said that they're both are ancient, obsessed with control, and they're tied to death magic and the cauldron.
Yeah,
A
I don't think they're
Koschei,
all one. I think they're
well,
different.
it says Koschei may have used Hybern as a vessel, and his true form is still lurking, waiting to rise.
Okay.
It's possible, because there's a lot
Yeah.
of weird stuff happening. There's a lot of
Yeah.
Koschei, I think, is going to be very fundamental in the next book, because there was all little details about him, and I think there's going to be a
Yeah.
lot more about him. Now, here's something
So
interesting. Now, I
I was
don't.
gonna say with him being a vessel, like when you're saying that, it's
Mhm.
making me think of the Volg from Throne of Glass a lot because they take or if you
They
remember me
take
telling
over
you
the
because you
body.
haven't read, they take over the body, and then the person that's still inside there can either slowly die off or they're not strong enough, and so the Volg basically like you're out, like that soul dies. So I can see if we're going from like the Volg perspective, that could be a thing.
Maybe Koshi is that. Maybe that's what kind of being he is. I don't know. It's interesting. It's an interesting
Yeah,
theory. Then there's
yeah.
this one that he is actually a Finian, Fionn, Theon, the first High King of Prythian, lost to time and corrupted by the Cauldron. Because they said he was really ancient and old.
Mm-hmm.
So could he possibly be this first High King of Prythian, and he was banished, maybe over onto that
Mm-hmm.
island? Well, it's a little, well, it looks like an island on the map, but it might
Yeah,
be, how maps are.
yeah.
Is that possible? That would explain his obsession with reclaiming Prythian and his knowledge of ancient magic.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, that's
Okay.
possible. I mean,
Yeah,
that's a
and
possibility too.
there's a reason why we don't have a name for the King of Hybern so that we can.
See, all this time I've been
Yeah,
thinking that was his name. See, blew my mind there.
yeah.
Now, how about this there? Now, this might blow your mind too. Now, what if the King of Hybern was created or resurrected by the Cauldron, making him a living extension of its will before they destroyed the Cauldron? What if he was, because remember, they said he's old, he's ancient. What if he is Cauldron born? Because I don't know how long it's been since they destroyed the Cauldron. And
Yeah.
then they put it in 3 different areas. How long ago? That was that in the First War, or was that even before that First War? See, I don't remember that.
That might have been before that
So, I mean,
because
that could be.
the first war.
That was 500
Well,
years before ACOTAR.
did they use the cauldron to create the wall?
I don't think I don't think
Because
so, but
they use it to try to break the wall. So was it built by the cauldron,
with the Cauldron, I don't know.
or was the wall just from like binding magic, where the mortal realms and the fairy realms made a
Well,
bargain, or
did all the
binding magic
7
created it?
or did all 7 of the High Lords all come together to create that wall with the mortal queens of the time? Because we know the
Mm-hmm.
mortal queens that are there now are not the
Mm-hmm.
same as was there
Right.
500 years ago. So maybe there
Yeah.
was something, I don't know. But that's an interesting thought. Because what
Yeah.
if he is? Because that would I mean, it does make sense. It says, with his ability to wield it and resurrect Jurian and manipulate reality suggests a deeper bond than just a mere possession, that he's just
Yeah.
in possession of the cauldron.
Yeah,
That's
he
interesting.
definitely knew how to use it, whereas Feyre, she had the Book of Breathings, she had what Amarin told her to say, and she couldn't do it. So there is definitely more intense ancient magic than she was able to handle.
Oh, yeah, because he was able to wield the cauldron just like it was nothing.
Nothing. Yeah.
So there's something there.
Yeah, that's
Now
important.
now, this is the theory too. Now again, we read the whole thing where Elaine, our sweet little gardener, took out the King of Hybern, but they're saying, what if he truly is not dead? Though Feyre and Elaine unalived him, some fans believe his essence may still linger, especially if the cauldron remained, because it was still active at the time. He could be reborn through Koschei, like we said. His soul may be trapped in a magical artifact like Amarantha's ring, or he might be trapped within the cold. His essence might be trapped in the cauldron itself. So I don't know. Could the King of Hybern, again, we don't know his name now, could his essence still exist out there into the universe of that? That's interesting. Now this is also something that's interesting. It says he was a mirror to Tamlin. Both were rulers who lost everything: their land, their power, their love. Hybern's obsession with conquest mirrors Tamlin's spiral, suggesting a dark parallel between them.
Yeah. And Tamlin's father was very close to allies with Hybern, I thought.
Yes, they did. During the war, they were aligned. They were in
Because
alliance together.
that's why that's
That's why
why Amarantha was around
yes.
Tamlin as a younger boy.
Yes, because his dad was in an alliance with them. It's
So then
interesting.
Tamlin's dad fought on the wrong side, and it was Rhys's dad that fought on the human side?
I believe so. So he was, I guess so.
Because Tamlin didn't fight in the war.
He was
He was too young. He was
he was
around
in
in, like, the war bands, but he didn't
yes,
fight in the war. Okay.
correct. Correct.
Yeah, he was too young. Yeah.
But Rhysand did because
Right.
he was older. He did, Cassie,
Yes.
they all did. That's
Yes.
but Lucien did not, because Lucien was born after the fact. But Eris would have
Mhm.
been around that time, but I don't know if he actually fought in it either. He might not have been old enough. That's interesting. Now,
Mhm.
remember we were talking about the King of Hybern's niece and nephew. Now they have their names now. Dagden
Mhm.
was the boy, correct? The guy. And then
Yes.
how do you
Yeah.
pronounce her name there? How would you pronounce that? Brana,
Branna.
Brana,
Branna.
Brana, and Dagden.
That's how graphic audio says Branna, so that's what I'm going with.
Branna. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Now, as you know, they both had their title, just like you were saying, the Prince of Hybern, the Princess of Hybern. And now the one little tidbit we did get is that they were the children of Hybern's sister. She is never
Mhm.
named. We don't know anything about her. We think well, at least we believe they're both high fae, because they
Mhm.
have that Daementi. Is that how you pronounce that?
Daemati.
Daemati. Okay. And then they could winnow, but
Only
only the boy,
Dagden can winnow. Mhm.
but they
'Cause
both could do that.
Branna has a moment where I think Feyre asks her, like, "Can you both winnow?" And Branna looks all, like, taken aback or, like, kinda pissed that she asked because she can't.
Okay. So,
Yeah.
and then of course, Feyre unalived both of them. Now, they
Yeah.
were sent to Spring Court with Jorian to assess the wall's weakness. They were described as emotionally bonded twins with a closeness that Feyre found disturbing. Because remember, they were very upset that they had given them two separate rooms and they wanted
Yeah.
to be together. There's something a little creepy there.
Yeah. They wanted to be in the same room there, and they stayed in the same tent when they went on their trips to the wall.
Yeah, they didn't wanna be they were very interconnected with each other, very
Yeah.
entangled, a lot more than normal siblings.
Yeah.
But they attempted to invade mines, poison Tamlin's court, and manipulate the children of the blessed. Remember, those are the people that Ianthe
Yes.
was part of. And
And
then,
that
of
was
course
awful, because I just got done with that part, and because they were messing with the children of the blessed when they were, like, standing there at the wall, and then Feyre's like, "Don't you dare touch them." Feyre goes into their minds, warns them, "Run away." They do run away, and then as they were sleeping, Prince and Princess, the twins, they ran off
Yep.
and brought them back and mutilated them and did
Yes.
whatever, who knows what. And it's like, ew, they were doing that together. So if they did have
Yeah.
some kind of sick, weird,
They had some very sadistic.
yes,
Yes, and I think they got like a they liked doing that kinda stuff. They would get like a thrill kinda thing. They were
yeah,
weird. They were
gross.
weird. Now this is theories of what there's that people say about them, that they were actually Cauldron created hybrids. The theory is that Dagden and Brana were created and enhanced by the Cauldron, not born naturally. Now they said the sister, but maybe there was something, it was like a piece of his sister went in, and so they said they were her children. Their powers and their emotional detachment suggests they may be part of the Cauldron, part Fae, but possibly even death touched. Because they don't act normal. I mean, I understand we're in a fantasy world and whatever, but everybody has a level of normalcy about them. They
Yeah.
were very like serial killer kind of
Yeah.
vibes. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? They
Yeah.
gave off a weird vibe. Now, this is something else he said. Now, maybe, possibly, they could be Koschei's prototypes. Some fans believe that they were early experiments by Koschei, testing how far mortal and fey magic could be fused. Their cruelty and control abilities mirror Koschei's rumored style: cold, calculated, and inhumane. I mean, that does describe them just exactly like what you were just saying when they went and got those people. That is what they did to them. It was not,
Yeah.
it was like it was a sport to them. You know what
Right.
I mean?
Hmm.
Now, the other thing, because again, we said that they have a weird bond. They said maybe they were almost like they were incestuous and soul fused. Their closeness is described as disturbing, leading to theories that they were soul bound, magically fused, or even two halves of one being, and they were meant to be vessels. Theory is that King of Hybern may have planned to use them as vessels for his own soul or for Koschei's essence. Their deaths may have disrupted a larger plan which could resurface in future books. I
Hmm.
mean, it is possible because there's something off about them.
Hmm.
There's something, I mean, of course, I mean, we are in a fantasy, like I said, in a fantasy world, but there's
Yeah.
something very not normal about them. And I
Hmm.
think Sarah was very intentional making them that way.
Yeah. You know what else I forgot about is Princess Branna makes a comment to Lucien about having slept with males from the Autumn Court. And I wish I would have put the quote down, but she said during the war
Oh,
because the Autumn Court were also against the humans because,
Baron.
Baron is awful. So it makes you wonder which males from the Autumn Court she slept with and what came of that.
That's interesting. Well, obviously it
Yeah.
wasn't Lucian.
Right.
It
He would have been
obviously
too
was
young.
not it. Well, he was
Ugh.
he was born after the war, but
Mhm.
that's interesting.
Yeah.
That's right, because I forgot. So Baron from the Autumn Court and Tamla's dad of the Spring Court, they were in an alliance with Hybern.
Mhm.
I don't know if any of the other courts were, or if those were the only two.
Yeah, I'm
We'll
not
have
sure.
to we'll have to look that up. But now this is something else. They said that Branna and Dagden are introduced in a court of Mist and Fury, and of course a court of Wings and Ruin, as Hybern's niece and nephew, meaning one of their parents is the king's sibling. Okay,
Mhm.
at least from what we get. Their titles of Prince and Princess of Hybern suggest their royalty, not just distant relatives. There's no mention is made of their mother or father. They appear to act as direct extensions of the king's will, emotionally bonded, magically enhanced, and fiercely royal. Now, this is theories that they said about who their parents could be. Now, their parent could be dead or sacrificed. Their parent, the king's sibling, which we're believing it's his sister, may have been killed in a magical ritual, possibly to bind the twins to the cauldron or to Koschei. Koschei keeps coming up. Everybody
Yeah.
is pushing that Koschei. Koschei must be pretty dang good that he's accomplishing all these things that people think.
Well, that's the thing. I think because he's still such an unknown factor, people are grasping at straw. Like, they're just grasping anything that they can and making up all these theories about him.
Well, we know he was involved with the queen when the crown and stuff, because we know
Yeah.
he's doing stuff because he has the
Yeah.
Firebird Queen. There's something
Yeah.
with him. We just don't.
Yeah, but we've got maybe he's Ness dad, maybe he's this, maybe he's that. There's just so much unknown that
I still lean
is
on
bringing
that
all these
one.
up.
I
Yeah,
still lean
I
on
like
that
that
one
one still.
because Papa Archeron, how did that man have that much leverage to go there and get her? There's more there than we know. Now, the other thing, of course, like we said, they were created, not born. Some fans believe that they were cauldron forged, meaning their parent is symbolic, either the king himself or the cauldron. Their disturbing closeness and enhanced powers suggest they may be, like we said, magically fused, not biologically conceived. Now, their parent is Koschei as a vessel. That's the other weird thing, like we were saying. The wild theory is that their parent may be Koschei's host or someone who is possessed or corrupted by Koschei's magic. Koschei's gross. This would explain their deathless loyalty, their mind control abilities, and their eerie emotional detachment. And then they said that, of course, the other thing is that they could be the last of Hybern's bloodline. The King of Hybern may have no heirs because he never mentioned having any children, but that doesn't necessarily mean that he doesn't have any. They just didn't mention any. That Brena and Dagden were meant to inherit his power, either through blood or through magical succession. Their deaths could symbolize the end of Hybern's royal line, leaving the kingdom vulnerable and ripe for Koschei to take over. Because Koschei's up to something. Where is Koschei? Where is the lake that Koschei's in? Is that on the continent or is that
Hmm.
over in Hybern?
I think so because that's where dad came from. He came from
The continent.
yeah, he came from the continent with the ships to come help.
Okay. But that's still, if he does get released from the lake, and if there is nobody ruling Hybern, that would seem like a logical place for him to want to set up a
Yeah.
shop, if you think about it.
And who's taking over Hybern? We've killed the king. We've killed the prince and princess.
Well, see, now that ties into the next thing I want to talk about is what if his sister is alive? Because there, Feyre says something that it's his sister's children. There's something with that. In a court of wings and ruins, it's revealed that Brena and Dagden are the children of the king's sister. Now, is that the book that you're on? Are you on Wings and Ruin now?
I'm in Akawar. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So watch and see if this is true. If you hear this, making her a princess of Hybern by birth, part of the royal bloodline. The quote from Akawar, paraphrase, Feyre refers to them as the king of Hybern's niece and nephew, the children of his sister. Her name is never
Okay.
given, she never appears on page, but her existence confirms that Hybern has at least one sibling. So maybe she's taking over. We're not looking at her as like some sweet innocent person. She might be
Right.
just as ruthless and horrible as him.
Yeah, I mean, her horrible children came from her, so
Yeah.
I imagine she's just as awful.
Oh, yeah. Because
Yeah.
Amarantha was over there, and you see what kind of person she was. We saw what kind of person he was, and we saw the twins. So that leans towards that if she is alive, she isn't exactly nice. So if he's dead, they're dead, she would probably be the person that would be ruling Hybern. So maybe we will see her as a foe that we don't know about yet and hadn't thought about. Now they said that maybe she was a cauldron princess or a death mage. They said she may have been a high-ranking sorceress over there, deeply tied to the cauldron or Koschei's magic. Her children, unnatural closeness and enhanced powers suggest maybe it was truly a magical experimentation or fusion. Or she's dead. This is the other theory, is that she was sacrificed or soulbound with her children, to create them, possibly to bind to them. Her absence from the narrative may reflect a deliberate thing, symbolizing the cost of power, or she was the vessel of Koschei. So Koschei had her to have these children, because who knows if he's making deals with Hybern. Hybern probably would give up his sister. He's not a very nice person, so would he do that? Yes. And then, or she's still alive and hiding. And some fans believe that she may reappear in future books, possibly as a hidden antagonist, a cauldron cultist, or even as a redeemed figure who regrets her children's fate. So what do you think on that? Do you think we're going
So
to
I
see her?
like I like that last one about her regretting her children's fate and being a redeemed figure because why wasn't there any mention of her involvement with them? Like you had said, they were so loyal to the king and going and doing
Mhm.
his bidding, and it was so easy for him to send them over and not be protected. They were enemies really on another
Oh, yeah.
in the spring court. So, and I also like the thing of them saying that they're maybe like part death god. I don't see that. They didn't seem that powerful. Yes, they had the
No.
Demati, but they didn't seem so powerful that they've got like I don't think the Koschei thing adds up.
No, see, I agree with you there. I don't think necessarily, but I think there's something with Hybern with his
Yeah.
ancientness. Because then we're looking at them as being so old, whatever, but obviously they're old enough that they were there during the First War, because you made the
Mhm.
mention that
Yeah,
she
cuz she
was,
said she slept with him. Yeah.
from the Autumn Court.
Yeah.
So they weren't young.
It also makes me wonder if they were like very coddled and maybe that's why they're so weird.
I mean,
Like
that
yeah, they
is
were
possible
Yeah. Like,
because
yeah,
the
they were
King of
involved in
Hybern,
the war, but did they really do any fighting, or were they more
like,
just
they were
sleeping around
just
with
there
people?
as figureheads.
Yeah.
So they were there and they really didn't go and actually battle or anything. They were just
Yeah.
there in their tent, like, "Mm, let the peasants,
Maybe
battle for us."
Yeah, maybe Dagden fought, but I don't think Branna really I think she was more like just a little princess sitting back and doing whatever she wants.
Well, and obviously sleeping with all kinds of men that she wanted besides her brother. Oh, I said it. We think that was happening. Now that's the King of Hybern and his little jaunt that he had with his people. Now the next person that we consider, and she was a horrendous villain, was Braylon. Is that how you pronounce her name as well? Briallyn?
I can't even say I would say like Briallyn? Briallyn? I don't know.
We don't pronounce anything correctly, but whatever her name was, Briallyn, she's the fallen queen. If you remember, she was one of the queens of the mortal realms. She formed an alliance there with the King of Hybern during ACOTAR, the book that Chelsea's on at the moment.
Mhm.
She was alive during the Silver Flames, and she worked with Koschei. But see, this is where the Koschei ties in. Like because how did she start working with him unless the King of Hybern was already working with Koschei? Because how did she just all of a sudden? Well, I mean, it was, I guess, over on the continent. Maybe she knew of his
Yeah.
existence.
Yeah.
We know she was cruel, she was manipulative, she was politically ambitious. She wanted basically to take over. Now, and remember, she was human. Now, she did go into the cauldron after Elaine and Nesta went in, and they both came out and they were both high fae and they were beautiful. She decided she wanted immortality as well, and she's the one that went in first. And the cauldron cursed her basically and made her come out as a withering crone instead of being beautiful and high fae. But when they did turn her into that, did she possibly get magic when that happened? Was she possibly Cauldron enhanced? Do you think she was just a crone, or do you think she got some magical abilities as well? What do you think?
I wanna think that she's just a crone, like the Cauldron didn't like that she thought she could come in and take from it, so that's what I want to believe, but I'm definitely open to the idea of her having some kinda awful power come out of it.
Because because she wasn't to me, in my mind, for everything, like how she orchestrated everything, I just can't see her just as truly just a mere mortal, just a
Yeah,
human. It
right.
had to do something to her
Mhm,
besides taking her beauty from her and making her, a crone. Now, the
mhm.
fans' theories say, now, she was the first Cauldron trial, even though take Elaine and Nesta out of the thing. Braylon was the first mortal to enter the cauldron, gaining powers that warped her body and mind. Her obsession with resurrection and control suggests that she may be part cauldron touched, just like Jurian, and then they're saying Vasa. Because there's something with Vasa because she was just mortal. How did she become half of a Firebird queen? Because she wasn't I don't think she was a Firebird the entire time in the Mortal Lands. I
Yeah,
thought she became, because that was the cursed thing that Koschei did.
yeah,
Do you know what I'm saying?
yeah.
So, now the other thing is, now could she be a court spy?
Koschei turned her into a Firebird.
So he did that, but how? So
Yeah, it
that has to
says
be with his dark magic that he has.
yeah, she's the cursed queen of Scythia, which is in the mortal lands. And the other mortal queens, jealous of her power, sold her to Koschei, who cursed her to become a firebird during the day and a human at night.
Okay, so he did that, but that's still dark magic that he does. See, he has a lot of power, even though he's trapped supposedly in this lake.
Yeah.
Uh, this is something that involves Moore. Now, we talked about Moore in the last episode. She makes a claim that Moore is a traitor to the Night Court. She says this. This is in A Court of Silver Flames. She makes that comment. Fan theories are that she's manipulating the events from within or possibly through a spy. Many suspect it was Moore during her secrecy and unexplained absences. So could Moore have been, you know, going and doing stuff with Briallyn? Because where was she during it? Because during A Court of Frost and Starlight and Silver Flames, Moore was very absent during those books. She was not there. After A Court of Wings and Ruins, after all that, she was in that book. But if you look on the other two, she's not, you don't read a whole lot with Moore. So besides, we know she was up at her estate. We know that because she makes that comment about it there in A Court of Frost and Starlight. But she isn't a whole lot in A Court of Silver Flame. And Briallyn makes that comment that she's the traitor to the court. But was she just saying that to be rotten? Or did she know
Right.
something more? I mean, it's possible. Briallyn may be
Yeah.
using Koschei's magic to infiltrate the minds and manipulate emotions. So maybe she's putting, or I don't know. I don't
Mhm.
know. But see, in my mind, though, if she's using his magic, that tells me the cauldron gave her something more that she's able to do
Right.
that. Because I still don't think a mortal would be able to do some of the things that she does.
Well, and remember how they are able to winnow? And that was a gift from the Fae to them as mortal queens. And it makes me wonder what else?
Yes.
What else was gifted to them that wasn't mentioned?
Again, I think there's more to the queens than we know. There's more. She's a vessel for Koschei. That was the other thing. Says some theories believe that she may not just be an ally, but she might be a vessel for Koschei's essence. Her obsession with her immortality and her survival after Hybern's fall suggests she's more than mortal, possibly soul-bound to the death god. Because she may have made deals, because you know how the deals go with the Fae, and if he's a death god, but maybe he's a Fae death god. I don't know. Maybe she did some type of bargain with him, and so if she's bound to him, there's something. Now, remember the queen, Demet, is it Demetra? Demetra? That's the Golden Queen. She was killed. Remember, she was killed by the Adder in
Mhm.
ACOTAR after refusing to join Hybern. Remember, she wore a ruby ring and used the phrases "a better world," a phrase echoed in the Throne of Glass by characters tied to an ancient prophecy. Do you remember any of this from Throne of Glass?
I mean, not off the top of my head. I'd have to look into it. Yeah.
They say that she may be related to someone in Throne of Glass, possibly a descendant of the Vault Queen or a lost royal line. And that could also be a symbolism that it could be a cross series echoes, but the ruby has a bloodline marker and a cost of resilience. But was there somebody that
Hmm.
had a ruby in Throne of Glass?
There was, but it protected them from the Vogue.
Oh, okay, so maybe that would be
So,
the bloodline marker.
yeah, I don't see them no, yeah, I don't see them being related. I don't see her being related to a Vogue queen. I would think a lost royal line, like a Fae line.
Okay.
And she was the Golden Queen was the one that left them the book because she
Yes,
read Reese's letter and was like,
yes.
"Yeah, I do believe in the better world."
Well, there has to be
Yeah, so
something with, that Sarah made it that she specified that she had this ruby ring, and she said the better world. There's some tie there.
yeah,
Maybe that's an Easter egg of
yes.
some kind?
So and that would be yeah, that would be on the good side, though, definitely not the Vogue side, I wouldn't think, because Maeve does try to get the ring so that Aelin can't use it against her,
Mm.
but her wearing it, I would think that
Did
I'm trying
A
to, like, map it out in my head.
did, keep the ring in Throne of Glass?
That's what I'm trying to remember what
Maybe
happened to the
she's a
ring.
descendant of Aelin, if Aelin had the
Yeah,
ring.
she could be. Yeah, she could be.
That's an interesting
Silba's
thought.
ring, that's what it's called. It's referred to as Mala's ring or Silba's ring in Throne of Glass, so we might need to do a little deep dive into that. It's
Isn't
a
that
golden,
interesting?
but it says the ring of Vulg immunity is a simple golden ring. I feel like I remember there being a stone, but maybe not. Oh, I think in the, oh, my dog's here. I think there's a stone in a sword that's red. So see, I'm trying to like piece it all together right now, but we're gonna
We'll
have to
have to
revisit
look it
that.
up.
Yeah,
We'll have to look
that's a
it up and
revisit
see what,
item.
and we'll update everyone what we figure out when we do our
Yeah,
next ACOTAR
yeah.
mini episode. That's interesting though. I like that there are so many, because remember, Sarah says that she has Easter eggs scattered about. So
Hmm.
maybe that is something. There's a reason why she said it. She just does, everything she does is for a reason. We've discovered this. Now,
Hmm.
the next person we're going to talk about is Chelsea's favorite. She loves this person so much.
I hate her. I hate Ianthe.
It's Ianthe, the deceptive priestess. Now, we know
She's
that
the
she's high.
worst.
She is absolutely the worst human being. Well, she's not a human being, but high fae.
She's the worst high priestess ever.
Yes, but she was the high priestess of the Spring Court. She was an ally of Tamlin, and then, of course, later, betrays him and sides with Hybern. She could do glamour, illusion, ritual based influence, and they said she could have possibly been that how do you pronounce it again? What was it? Demati. Demati. But of course, she was killed by the Weaver in one of the best scenes ever in the Court of Wings and Ruin, because she was lured there by Feyre after she did the
Hmm.
worst thing that ever could happen when she killed our sweet Surreal. I don't like her. Just for that, she deserved the death from the Weaver. But she was very manipulative, power hungry, obsessed with status and control. But her legacy, or her death, is poetic justice devoured by the death goddess after desecrating what was sacred. But she also orchestrated the Calumet rituals. Did you know that? It says she
I didn't know
orchestrated.
that. Yeah, I didn't know
That's what
that.
it
I know
said.
that she did. I mean, she orchestrated the one where Tamlin refused to. So Tamlin refused to perform in the Great Rite when he was trying to get Feyre back from the Night Court, and Lucien had to step in, and she orchestrated being picked and being chosen for that task. So
Oh, she's-
I don't know that she necessarily orchestrated all of them, but that one
But
she
that one in
certainly did.
particular.
Yes,
But she definitely manipulated the Spring Court. Definitely.
yes.
But she did try to seduce Tamlin, possibly using magic to bind him to her emotionally. But she did betray Feyre and Lucien, aligning, of course, with Hybern.
Hmm.
She claimed a spiritual authority while abusing her own position for her own personal gain. Again,
Hmm.
she killed our sweet Surreal. That bitch. She killed our Surreal. Of course, she was lured to the Weaver's cottage by Feyre, killed off the page. Her death was confirmed because they said she was no longer a problem.
I love that. I love that that was her end.
I remember,
Insignificant little wench.
if I remember right, when she went into the Weavers, wasn't it that Feyre heard her screaming or something? For some
Yeah,
reason, I'm remembering that. I bet
yeah.
she was like, I would have been happy there. But they
Mhm.
think maybe she may have had secret Demati powers, like Rhysand and Feyre, but hides it to maintain her priestess persona. Do you think she had that ability?
I don't think so, because I think Feyre, when she went back, I think Ianthe would have been too ambitious to not try to get into Feyre's mind. Like, there's no way she could control herself
Yes, she would have
and,
been in there, and Feyre would have known it.
right.
But
Yeah,
now
because
she did.
the twins did it. So, yeah, Ianthe, there's no way she would have let somebody else, there's no way that wouldn't have been known in my
Well,
eyes.
but she did have the ability to manipulate. It might have been just because she was the asshole as she was, because she was able to
Yeah,
manipulate Tamlin, Lucien, and even Feyre at first there. But
yeah.
Feyre was going through a lot, so Feyre
Mhm.
wasn't on target. I want to say,
Right,
she was
right.
not in the best headspace, so she could have been easily manipulated because of that.
Correct,
Now,
yeah.
there's also a theory that she was Tamlin's mate. Ianthe used the Calumet rituals to trick Tamlin into a mating bond, possibly binding him to her magically. It says her obsession with Tamlin and her attempt to replace Feyre suggest a ritual-based emotional trap. Because I think she wanted to be Tamlin's betrothed because
Yeah,
she did the whole wedding and all that, but I think she truly wanted it to be her. You know what
she
I'm
wanted
saying?
to be in his she wanted to be in his pants, and when she couldn't get to Tamlin, she wanted to be in Lucien's pants, but I don't see a mating bond, like, that doesn't hold any water.
Well, that's why they're saying maybe it was like a ritual-based kind of thing, like she was trying to entrap him. But then again, remember
Yeah.
didn't she wanna be in Rhysand's too? Didn't she know
Yes.
Rhysand too? Yes.
Yeah.
She was a
Yeah, and he kicked
giant
her out.
whore. She was a
Yeah.
whore. Okay. We don't like
Yeah.
her, as you can tell. We
Well, that
don't
was
like
the
her.
whole thing. Feyre okay, and this is the other one that would take out the Daemati claim for Ianthe, because Feyre breaks into Ianthe's mind, has her break her own hand after she's trying to
Oh,
make
that's
advances
right.
on Lucien. Yeah, and
Yes.
then Feyre tells her, "You're going to, you're gonna go back. You're gonna tell them I killed the prince and princess as self-defense." And so, yeah, so Ianthe didn't have any shield up and
Okay, so then that rules
yeah.
that one out then. Now,
Mhm. Yeah.
they also said then she could have been a Cauldron cultist. Some fans believe that Ianthe was secretly working with Hybern and Koschei long before her betrayal. She used her use of ritual, obsession with power, and survival instinct suggests that she may have been tied to death magic. I mean, I don't think she was on the good side of magic because of how she was. But would you be surprised if she was using death magic? I didn't see her actually use it though. I didn't see anything
Yeah.
that shows that. But when
No, I
she
think I don't know where that one would come from or, like, what would support that, because more she was just manipulative and trying it was really that she was trying to get a high lord for herself is what it seemed like, or trying to
Oh, I
take
think
over
so.
one of the courts. Yeah,
I'm surprised with her secretly working with Hybern and Koschei that she didn't try to seduce one of them,
right.
because that would have made her even more powerful than with a High Lord.
Yeah,
I think you
yeah.
could tell she didn't like Farah from day one when she picked off that horrible wedding dress for her.
Mhm. Yeah. Petty.
Oh, definitely petty, and I like how she would do it with a smile. "Oh,
Yeah,
Farah, let's pick out all these things for your wedding," and
yeah.
all this
But
kind of
really,
thing.
she was just making her look like an idiot the whole time.
Yes, absolutely. Because don't you remember when Reese came and got her, and he took her back to the night court, and remember she was still in that ridiculous dress? Because he makes a comment about it, doesn't he? Something about her dress.
Yeah, yeah.
'Cause
Her stupid dress.
it
Yeah,
was to me, I imagine it being really fluffy. Do you remember the scene in
yeah.
Friends when what's her name there, Jennifer Aniston there, her character there, she was gonna be in a wedding and she came out in that big pink puffy dress and,
Mhm.
Ross is like, "Just tell her she looks nice. Tell her, she
Yeah,
looks nice." And she did not. And then I remember,
yeah.
Chandler tells her that they didn't have any sheep. They hadn't lost any sheep because she looked like poop. That's one of my favorite episodes. Oh my
Yeah,
god. Rachel, there we go. I was calling her by
yeah,
her real name, Jennifer Aniston, but Rachel. That
yeah.
I love Friends. But
Yeah. I
but
mean, it's
that
funny because even Tamlin laughed himself hoarse over the dress, but then was like, "Feyre, you still have to wear it." Like, the fact that he kept choosing Ianthe's side over
yeah,
and over again was so maddening.
Tamlin should look back at all of his things that he did wrong and realize he pushed Feyre away. Besides, if you take the bond between her and Reese out of the equation, everything he did because he says he loved Feyre, he loved her so much, but his actions did not show that he truly loved her. Because if you truly love someone, you don't suffocate them the way he did.
Yeah.
You know what I
I
mean?
mean, unless you're just a toxic person because some toxic people do that. So, yeah.
That is true. This is, and again, that's where I think it is very strong possibility that Tamlin and Amarantha were they were made
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
I think they were made for each other.
Mhm.
I think so.
Yeah.
I mean, out of all of it, but I do think every single one of these ones that we talked about absolutely are 100% villains in the world of Prithia, in the
Yes.
Prythian world. So
Absolutely.
now let me ask everybody this. Now, all my book babes here, which villain fascinates you the most and why? Slide into our DMs or tag us at 2girls1TBR on Instagram and on TikTok, and then we'll discuss it in the next episode, in episode 5.
Yeah. That's episode 4, a deep dive into ACOTAR's villains from Amarantha to Ianthe, including all the fan theories and chaos we could fit in.
Again, remember, tag us at 2girls1TBR, slide into our DMs with your theories on these villains, their motives, their hidden connections, their possible secret. We want to hear all of your takes. We want to hear it all. Just let us know.
Yeah. So subscribe to us on Spotify, iHeartRadio, YouTube, and leave a review to keep the chaos coming.
But hey, everyone, keep your books filthy and your TBR unhinged. Good night, Book Babe.
Good night.